Being short really isn't that bad. Like, I hear so much sentiment online where so many guys are just so insecure about their height. And to be fair, it's not inherently like illogical that you may be insecure about your height, okay? Like, if you're 5'5", it makes sense that, yeah, you probably would like to be maybe like 5'9" or, I don't know, 6 foot. I mean, me personally, I'm 5'5". I mean, if you asked me, put a gun to my head, what would be your preferred height? I'd probably say 5'10", mostly because I think it's like, tall enough that I'm taller than a lot of women, and also tall enough where, I can be somewhat intimidating and it wouldn't be inconvenient. But I feel like so many guys have this mentality that, oh, you being short is going to hurt your chances with the ladies. And I'm going to be honest, it's like, I know it's been said a billion times, but like, that really is not as big of a detriment as people say it is, because it's like, if you go to say like so many other countries like Latin America, like a lot of, well, Latin America is not a country, but you know what I mean. You go to like continent like Latin America, a lot of the guys are super short, and also the women are very short. It's not a big deal. But I find that the sentiment is very common with guys who are like pre 21 years of age, because I get so annoyed where I'll see like a guy who's like 5'8" on social media and be like, oh dude, I'm a short king. It's like, brother, you are one pair of Doc Martens from being average height in America. Like, the average height of American males is 5'9". So it's just like, I don't get why so many guys are so like, well, I understand why they're insecure because of social media, but like, I guarantee if you go outside, it's really not as serious as guys make it, because I've had plenty of girls like me, and I'm like 5'5", and you know, I've had girls like me who are taller than me, and I think it really is so much about how I think so many guys allow insecurities to kind of overlook the fact that, like, of my opinion, women are not as visual creatures as men are. This is just my theory. Where women still care about looks. Like, I do hate people who say that looks don't matter, because that's kind of ridiculous. But guys tend to be so focused so much on the looks aspect of things that they kind of forget that women, they care about that, but they're not exactly always thinking about, oh my gosh, this is the hottest guy. Because girls will a lot of times be able to kind of like justify and say, well, he has this trait. Maybe he's not the most hottest guy in the world, but he had, he's a stable guy, he's a provider, he's he's a cool I don't know, he's a nice person, whatever. And I feel like so many guys forget that, like, women can like other traits about you other than your height. Now, I do believe, like, if you're like some 5 foot, 400 pound dude, then yeah, it's gonna be a hard time. But so many of these quote unquote short guys, I don't even think are that obscenely short. Like, I'm sorry, if you're 5'7", here's my mentality. If you're taller than most women, then I think you're fine. Like, personally. Like, obviously a lot of women would prefer guys who are like super tall. If anything, I think one of the hardest things about being a short guy is not so much really the fact that, oh, you can't get any girls, because I don't, like, I'm sure plenty of girls have definitely not found me attractive because I'm short, but like, that's going to go for a lot of things. Like, you know, women are always going to dislike you for some trait. No matter if you're like a tall, good-looking guy, there's always going to be something about you that may not be attractive to some women, and you just got to live with that. But one thing I would say is somewhat hard being like a shorter guy is mostly being emasculated by a lot of men and not being seen as a real man. I would say that's probably more detrimental or more difficult part of being short than being like with the ladies. Because I'm sorry, like, plenty of guys can pull, like, it can pull even in spite of their height. I mean, my brother is like 5'3", and this guy, he's been with a lot of women, right? And maybe I'm like some super giga chad who's like really hot, when I'm as a 5'5" guy. So I just don't understand the struggle. But like, I don't think I'm like that attractive. I don't think I'm ugly by by no means. But I don't think I'm like to the point where I'm so good looking that, oh my gosh, like, women will just ignore my 5'5" height. And like, I don't know. I think it's just so weird how I think social media has made so many men insecure, which I know is a freaking cold take, but like I feel like back in the ye olden days when we didn't have this comparison, like this online atmosphere telling you that, yeah, dog, you gotta be this height, you gotta be that. It's like, no, you really don't to be able to get in a relationship. And I'm definitely learning this season how I think we forget we're so afraid to be insecure about things. What I mean by that is like it's okay for you to be insecure about some things, right? But you have to own it and you have to actively work towards finding your insecurity. Because like one thing I kind of learned is that people are not very self-aware. It's weird. It's like we can acknowledge the flaws within other people, but ourselves, we're constantly just, you know, ignoring what makes us kind of weak or what makes us kind of dumb in that sense. And I don't know. I'm here to tell you, it's really. I don't think it's that hard being short. At least when it comes to dating, I think there are definitely cases when it comes to other things in life. It is definitely more difficult. Like this is a funny story. It's really dumb. I remember, I found out that, like to donate sperm, at least in my state. I don't know if this is the law in other cases, other states as well. You have to be like at least like 5'9". So like you can't even donate like your own like essence unless you're a certain height. And I'll admit that, you know, not that I'm really gonna be doing that anytime soon, right? I did think, dang, that is kind of messed up. But I don't know. I think people have to stop putting their insecurities at the forefront and realize, oh my gosh, like, yeah, we all have our disadvantages in the world, but are you just going to look and whine about, it, or are you going to try to find a way in spite of your ends? Because here's the thing, right? There are people who love Bruno Mars, and Bruno Mars 5'5", but there'll still be people who try to downplay his success, but yo, oh, he's 5'5". It's like, brother, this guy's a multi-millionaire, has all the girls liking him, and is a super talented dancer, and you want to downplay his success because he's a short guy? Because here's the thing, people will often, you know, diminish what you are because of their own personal weakness and insecurities. Because I found that it's people. I remember I saw this video where she made a point about how the people that bullied her the most were not so much the popular kids, but the people who wanted to be popular. And what I'm kind of seeing is that the people who are the most mediocre are those who tend to downplay your attempt to get better. Because here's the thing, I remember saw another post where it's like an artist will never get mad at you trying to be an artist. A filmmaker would never try to get mad at you for trying to be one. A rich man would never get mad at you for trying to get money. And it's true. It's always the people who are very average or mediocre who are always trying to tear you down. Because at the end of the day, your height is not going to be the most important thing in your life. Like, yeah, sure, some women won't find you as attractive, but like at the end of the day, you just need one person who cares about you. But hey, this is just me yapping. But I hope you guys have a great day. And if you like my content, please consider liking and subscribing. But y'all have a good one.